as far as I remember, because I was there when it happened, that doesn't guarantee that you remember things around the Grateful Dead, but I was there, and basically what happened was everybody was fucking lazy. We were talking about it, and we went, well, you know, should we get the crew to go into the audience and like take their tape recorders off it? And everyone went, no, man. You know, we were getting high. We don't want to do that. Fuck it, you know what I mean? And everyone went, does it really matter if they record it? And then I think Rock Scully, who used to handle all the business with Warner Brothers, was going, yeah, well, it's going to affect our record sales. And everyone looked at him and went, what record sales? We don't sell records, Rock, you know what I mean? And everyone, oh, fuck it doesn't matter, you know. So that was a kind of decision that was taken by default that, you know, is now held up by the kind of Harvard Business School as some kind of wonderfully enlightened business decision that the Grateful Dead made. And it wasn't at all. It was just a kind of default position based on the central theory of Grateful Dead existence in those days was as little hassle as possible. We just don't need the aggravation or the hassle. And it served them well. And I just would like to say about the Grateful Dead, who I love and still consider myself a member of that distant family, their desire not to be pigeonholed, not to, you know, the desire of Jerry not to be a leader, not to be this kind of oracle that pronounced on things where millions of people decided that was the way to go. I mean, for example, I hate that expression, what would Jerry think? Does my head in to see it, and I'm sure that Garcia, if he could see it, maybe he does see it, would be horrified too. Because half the people in the Grateful Dead had turned around and say, well, who gives a fuck what Jerry thinks, for a start? I mean, Jerry thinks whatever Jerry thinks, you know what I mean? And secondly, Jerry was famous, okay, how can I explain this? As wonderful as he was on stage, as dominant and powerful and controlling in terms of a band, where that music was going to go, how it was going to be, on every level, it was Jerry's band. I mean, as soon as he wasn't there, you could see what it turned into. On every level, he was in control, musically. As soon as you took Garcia away from music, and I know, I mean, I looked after the man for 4 years, saved his life twice, he was hopeless. He didn't even know when to change his fucking socks. I used to say, Jerry, your feet stink. He used to wear cowboy boots, you know, in those days. And I said, man, your feet, I can smell your feet. And he kind of go, oh, you'd be sitting there playing the guitar, you know, in some hotel room or something. I said, man, have you changed your socks? I used to go and buy socks for him. I go and get some socks and say, look here, man, you know, like, next time you have a bath, change your socks. He was funky as fuck, you know. And he just didn't think about those things, you know what I mean? All he thought about was the survival of the Grateful Dead, and bless him, you know, I mean, he kept a lot of people in bread and wine, Jerry, for many, 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 many years.
True.
Bless his memory, you know. But I did have the pleasure of telling him one time where he said to me, well, you work for me. I said, you don't fucking pay me enough. This isn't a job, Jerry. The only reason I do this is because I love you. You don't pay me enough. So I just want to say the Rolling Stones never paid me. They still owe me the money to this day. And for the 4 years I worked for the Grateful Dead and made them millions, I had paid myself, I could pay myself what I wanted, I paid myself $200 a week. So one of the reasons for that was not total, you know, disinterest and altruism. It was because I wanted to be in a kind of morally strong position to talk to people about how money should be divided. You know, it's not, you can't really tell the Grateful Dead, look, you've got to all live on $200 a week if you are on $5,000 a week. So the Grateful Dead, when I joined them, were in a terrible state. They had no money. They were in desperate difficulties financially, maybe $600,000-$700,000 in debt. And you know, in order to survive, we had to make money, and we had to pay off those debts. And so the agreement was that everybody would live on a very small amount of money, and so we did. And I'm pleased that that is what happened. And for many years now I haven't been involved directly in the music business. Indirectly I have, and I've been writing, and my next book's going to be called Sex for the Over 80s. I look like I've got an audience here for it, so just kidding. I'm writing. This is a book that I wrote about the music business, having read hundreds of books about the music business, most of which I found an insult to my intelligence, and most of them rather boring. So I hope you find my book of interest. And what I'd like to do is, because people do have questions and do like to ask questions, and as long as it's not about my sex life, you're welcome to ask questions. We've got more than 2 minutes. This is Handy Jam, the flexible time organisation.
Oh, these guys came a long way.
Well, nobody fucking came further than I did. I came from Australia.
All right, give my
So, who's got the most intelligent question in the room? This is the question.
Intelligent.
Somebody, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a question. Somebody might like to make an observation about the film or whatever. So feel free to, you know, say something, please.
Glad you did it.
Well, thank you. This old Oppo from the music business who's still alive. He's still young. He's only 68, but he'll get there. He worked with the Who and all kinds of people, and yeah. No, not one. There's a question. I was going to say a highly intelligent audience, and not one question. Well, must be a Harvard.
In all your experiences working with all these different bands, what is the one big regret that you have that you never got to accomplish?
How much time left?
Well, the God's honest truth is I've never lived in regret. I've
Cool.
made some super fucking stupid mistakes. You know what I mean?
Such as?
They happen. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not perfect. I'm just another human being. So
Okay.
you know, the idea that you don't make mistakes is absurd. We all make mistakes.
Right.
So, but I don't live in regret. I mean, I think you make mistakes. I do believe you've got to deal with it. You break the law, or if you do it bad enough, they're going to send your ass to jail. Get on with it. That's
True.
what happens. And but I mean, let me think. What would I have liked to have done? I haven't got a clue. What I could have been gay and married Elvis. I don't know, man. It's like everything that I wanted to do in the music business, I did only because I only worked with people that I loved and wanted to work with, and I loved them for their music. There was a time a few years back when I was completely broke, and a friend of mine called me up from London. I was living in Spain, and yeah, man, I've got a job for you. You can be tour manager for this band, blah, 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 blah. And I really needed the money. I didn't have a fucking penny. I was living on figs from this fig tree outside my house. And, I kept saying, well, who's the band? And he wouldn't tell me what the band was. And I said, okay, well, what happened to the previous tour manager? So he finally said, oh, well, he's in hospital. Well, okay, why is he in hospital? Oh, he had a heart attack. Right, okay. So who's the band? Finally they said, don't worry about the band, man, we'll pay you $10,000 a month, and we'll give you this, we'll give you that, which was a lot of money then. No, I want to know the band. So finally they said, it's Black Sabbath. And I went, I wouldn't fucking work for Black Sabbath, man, for $1 million a month. I don't make fucking 10,000, you know what I mean? It's like, and they went, why? What's the problem? You know what I mean? It's just a band, you know. The problem is I'd have to listen to that shit.
Yeah.
So my whole life in the music business, I've been very lucky. I've always listened to stuff that I loved. And I can't complain. People have been very nice to me, you know what I mean? I'm alive. There's plenty of people in the music business who died young, including tour managers. But I did make some smart choices when it came to drugs. I know the drugs that kill you. And I know the drugs that get you high. And this is a core issue that all the people of my generation have been through, and we paid a heavy price for our knowledge.
Was it Richard Cole who rang you?
No, he's an old mate. Yeah, he's talking about Led Zeppelin's tour manager. No, it wasn't. No, it was an agent, actually. Yeah, Dave.
Is there a band or artist that you ever wanted to work with that you never got the chance to?
Well, I mean, there were a few, but not really. I mean, I would have loved to have looked after the Flying Burrito Brothers. because I just loved their music early on. They were wonderful, you know. But you know, I mean, the music business, you do what, you know, you do what's available to you at the time, and then you look back on it and you feel good about it or bad about it or whatever. But I mean, you can't, you know, work with every band on the planet. So you feel good about the ones you work with. But you know, I mean, I think regret is such a lame kind of position to take on things. You know, I didn't work with certain bands, but it's not regrettable. You know what I mean? I mean, I regret that my grandmother died. You know what I mean? I was very close to her. That's a regretful thing. Not working for somebody, or you know, not making $1 million, or not getting a gold record. These are just, you know, the twos and fro's of life in the fast lane or the last lane. Yeah, I don't think it's regret. Good enough.
Yeah, what type of input did you have when the bands were creating new music?
No, I always loved music and had nothing to do whatsoever with its creation, if you like, other than making sure all the necessary ingredients were there for them to, like, bake a cake.
So they would play for you, and you would give them an opinion?
When I first met the Grateful Dead, the first thing they said was, "Oh, we play Rolling Stones. We love the Rolling Stones. We play Rolling Stones numbers all the time." Yeah, great. Okay, I was sick to death of the fucking Rolling Stones actually, but anyway, yeah, we love we love them. We're going to play. You know, we can play. So they were in the rehearsal hall. So okay, yeah, we'll play you some. So they played Little Red Rooster. You know. Well, I wasn't impressed. Needless to say. I mean, you know what I mean? The Grateful Dead used to play lots of Rolling Stones songs. The Rolling Stones, as you can well imagine, would never play a Grateful Dead song. And they're like cheap chalk and cheese, you know? One last question.
I'm just wondering, since you lived through this movie, when you see it again, are you reminiscing? Or are you...
I'll tell you what, it really disturbs me. I hate seeing it, actually. It was a very, 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 very heavy day. I mean, not too many people go to a rock and roll show and see a murder happening, you know, well, 15 feet in front of them. And, you know, I had blood all over me. I went and saw the guy's body, helped put the guy's body on a stretcher, you know, not nice. And I mean, the amazing thing is then I went up, and I should have pointed it out, but I went to, in the film you see me talking to Mick. And I'm telling Mick, the guy had a gun, they've stabbed him, get the fuck off the stage now. And Mick's going, no, we've got to finish the set. He was a ballsy guy, man. A ballsy guy. It takes something to have your tour manager and tell somebody, he had a gun, he's been stabbed to death. You've got to leave the stage and say, no, we've got to finish this set. He was right, I mean, with the benefit of hindsight. They'd never have got out there alive if they tried to leave at that stage, but very, very brave and ballsy guy. So what I'll say to you finally is this, look, I'm going to be at the back on your way to the toilet, preferably on the way back after you've washed your hands. Come and shake hands, say hello. I'm sitting in the corner there, I've got some books for sale, I'm happy to sign them for you. And any questions that you've got, come and talk to me and I'm happy to answer them. And thanks very much for being here. Thank you. Thanks, Ray.